I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and freaks of all ages. This is the Political Spotlight coming to you live from the Southern Command. Good golly, it is a hot one out there today. Shoo-wee, man, I tell you what, I can't take it. It's a hot day. It's hot yesterday. It's hot today. It's going to be hot tomorrow. People are actually saying that the patch filler that the city of Muncie has been putting in potholes for the last year is actually melting and sticking to tires and doing all kinds of crazy damage. So, avoid 95% of all roadways in Muncie if you don't want to hit potholes or the filled potholes with melted material in them. So it's hot out there, but it's cool as a cucumber inside. We're going to be talking about some of the crazy goings on from some news that was dropped last night. We're going to be talking about all of that. And although I've been bringing you some pretty important topics here lately, we're kind of where we get every now and then where we're at a little bit of a standstill. We're just waiting for some information to drop, and we're waiting to hear some things. So we're kind of at the in-between stage. I am not in the studio, as you guys can tell. And I don't. Last night's show I could not have done from here. I could not have done last night's show from here. But tonight we won't be going back and forth and going all these different places, and so it'll be easy for myself. It'll be easy for Kate. Kate is here. Producer Kate's at the controls as usual, doing a fantastic job, and we love that. We would ask before we get started that you please consider smashing that like button. If you're on YouTube or Rumble, please do that. If you're on X or Facebook, give us do whatever you do there. Hit the heart, hit the like, react, and above all else, share the show with everyone you know and help spread the word. This is coming to you live on Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. It is 9:11 p.m., and we're going to get into it. Before we do that, though, please, if you're interested in following us on social media, all of our social media links are right there: YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, our two Facebook accounts, my private Facebook account, and then the YouTube Facebook page. You'll want to follow them both. Follow us on Twitter. And that's how you get to us right there. The studio line is and our emails. So we would greatly appreciate that. So when you couldn't see the what, Joe Black? What couldn't you see? I don't know what you're talking about. How's the audio doing with this? Can you hear me well? Okay, good. Kate says thumbs up. A big thumbs up. I don't like this as much as I like my microphone, but it is what it is. So, has anybody heard anything interesting out there today? Anything interesting going on in Muncie? Anything going on? Has the city of Winchester stolen anyone's property over the night? After I got off of the show last night, if you didn't watch last night's show, I would highly recommend you going back and watching last night's show. Last night's show, we talked about, first up, we were talking about the breaking news about Brandon. Oh, hold on here. We've got some more information. Stand by one second here. Interesting. Stand by. I'm checking my email. This is the first time I've checked my email. This is going to be kind of a all-over show, so bear with us. Yeah, Kate, I figured you would like that. If you did not have a chance to watch last night's show, I would highly recommend going back and watching the show. It doesn't matter where you're from. It does not matter where you're from. We were talking about property theft from the perspective of a government attempting to steal private property. And that's something that people everywhere should be interested in listening. Number one, how to fight that and what to do in that situation. So that's important. Randall McAllister, obviously talking about Brandon, says, I'd like to see him explain the values or policies that made him leave the Democratic Party. What led to his decision to leave the party? Was he lying about his values to the Democrat voters to win the vote? What has changed? Yeah. That's a lot of people are saying that. I definitely understand that. And we're going to get into that here in just a moment. Oh yes, the pool float. That pool float it's helped me float through a lot of things in life. And it's still there. I've rode the rapids of life on that float, and it's still has the same air in it. It's amazing craftsmanship. So before we get into the main part of the show and we talk about this Brandon stuff, I do feel like I probably need to cover this stuff here really quickly. Because last night after we got off the show, I sent a couple of emails to the elected officials of Winchester. And what I sent was, I sent 3 emails to the 3 council members that are voting for this, Councilors Boyd, Alfrey, and Bruchin. And I said, I've emailed you after thoroughly examining all of the information pertaining to the situation surrounding the property between Washington and Franklin Streets. I'm asking for your individual explanations as to why you have voted the way that you have in this matter and what makes you feel about it the way that you feel. The situation has been going on since July of 2024, and the council voted on Monday, April 7th, 2025, to basically be done with it, stating that it was a private property situation, and if it needed to be handled, it needed to be handled between the neighbors, which I agree with. However, only 2 short months later, Randolph County Commissioner and egotistical lunatic Missy Williams stuck her nose into it, and just like that, the 3 of you not only voted to get involved, you were so excited about it, you went ahead and voted at the end of the meeting without notice. You didn't even vote to suspend the rules, even attempting to make your vote legitimate. You just voted 3-2 to push this closer to steal private land. So I am asking the 3 of you to individually email me back explaining why you feel the way that you do about this and why you have voted the way that you have. Reply to this email. Let me know your thoughts on this. And if you have any questions, please give me a call. Understand, hiding from this, sticking your head in the sand, and simply not responding, that's not going to be a good thing, you know. This is going to be a big deal. I'll be sticking around until we get to the bottom of this and we stop the city and the 3 of you from stealing private property from the 2 tax-paying citizens of Winchester. Looking forward to your replies. Thank you in advance for your time. So I sent that to them, and I was looking through here to see if any of them. Thank you. I was looking through here to see if anyone had sent anything, but while I was looking, I noticed I have some new emails from Carrie Sayer, and I've got to give her another pat on the back. She's supposed to be on vacation, so I'm actually quite shocked that I have this this email from her. Let me go and let's take a look at this. We'll take a look at this together. Give me just 1 second here. Okay, so Christy Baker. Let's see what this is. From Christy Baker. Okay. Wow, man. I've really got to give it to her, because one of the things that I requested yesterday was, no, Missy Williams is not related to David Williams. If Missy Williams was related to David Williams, David would be blocked from here. I would not communicate with him. He wouldn't. He would not be. He would be excommunicated, and yeah, there would be literally no room in my life for a person like that. So yes, we can be guaranteed there is no relationship between our dear friend and my tiny little nephew. He's just about reached 4 foot tall, and I can still pat him on the top of the head and spank him on the butt and send him to bed, you know. But yes, David is Catherine's long lost son. I forgot about that. That is true. Now, I am not Catherine's sister or brother. Well, I'm not her sister or brother. I'm specifically not her sister. But there's no way I would be related to a Korean. There's just no way. I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I would excommunicate myself from that situation. So David is her son. He is my nephew, but there's no relation between Catherine and I. See how that works? Okay. On we go to take a look at this. So one of the things that I requested yesterday from Carrie, and she told me, she was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get this to you until after July 7th. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this to you until after July 7th, but she went ahead and got it to me today. Thank you, Carrie. So this shows the initial $1,800, $1,800 that the city of Winchester spent on this issue. So they're already spending money on it. And half of the money they've spent, not half, excuse me, all of the money they've spent so far has proven to them that this is private property. Do not enter, do not pass go, it's done. But yet, it's one of these things where they keep wanting to spend money, they keep wanting to vote, they keep wanting to ask different people until they get the answer they want. And I have to give, this is going to be something that normally doesn't happen here, but I'm going to give, and I have to give Mayor Bob McCoy credit. I'm going to give Councilor Nan Harris credit. And I'm going to give Councilor Jim Nunes credit for doing the right thing. The right thing. David must be a little lagging. I have to give them credit because they're actually standing up and doing the right thing. And to Meeks Cockrell, I'll actually give Meeks half credit, but I also, the reason it's half credit is because he is kind of saying the right thing, but he's not saying it for the right reasons. He's saying it just because he's a lazy poophead. That's an official political word, a lazy poophead. That's kind of commentary that you'll hear. I'm sure I remember Rush Limbaugh saying it, lazy poophead. I know that he called Clinton that once or twice. I've heard it. Anyways, Meeks is lazy. That's the reason he was trying to do what he wanted. But at the same time, then he was also saying the opposite side. So he only gets half credit. But it's kind of interesting when we're actually giving people in Winchester credit. And, that's something I'll do. I will give credit where credit is due. I have no problem doing that. So, what I want to do, so that the first email we looked at there was a check, and I'm happy that, let's see here. Here you go, Christy Baker. Can you please provide me with a copy of the check written to Okay, they did that, so she did that. Okay, now we're going to go look at the next email to me. Okay, this is from Council 2. I have nothing. Okay, great. At large, I have no communication with Missy to provide. I went back through the timeframes requested. Okay, great. Please see below. Forward all emails as requested. Okay. So we've got nothing there, so that's good. All right, on to the next one. Formal objection to pursuit. Bob McCoy to Carrie. Okay, from Bob to Missy. Formal objection to pursuit of alley opening or taking private property. From Missy Williams. I just sent a message. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, stand by. Stand by. All right, I want you to see this. This is disgusting. This, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to blow this up here so you guys can see this. Give me a little bit of time. We're not at the home studio, so things are a little bit different. Okay, you guys can see this. I will read this to you. So this was sent from Bob to Carrie yesterday at 8 p.m. So Bob is actually responding to my record request. And you see the subject here. It says subject, formal objection to pursuit of alley opening or taking of private property. From Bob to Missy, Tuesday, June 3rd. This was the day after she came in. Let me know if you get a response. Bear said he wasn't receiving emails. So apparently that means that there was some emails going to between Missy and Bear, from Missy to Bob. I just sent them a message. Okay, so it starts here at, well, let's go down here all the way at the bottom where it starts. So Matt Cook sent his formal objection to pursuit of alley opening or taking of private property. And he sent this on Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. Stand by 1 second. I want to send this. I need to send this link to Mr. Cook, because I'm not sure he knows I was even planning on talking about this. Give me just 1 second. Okay, give me a second here. FYI. About it now. Here. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to be able to, I wanted to send that to him in case he had not heard this. So Matt Cook on Tuesday had sent this to Bob, to Meeks, to District 1, District 2, District 3, District 4, and at-large councilors. And I think we talked about this last night. Dear council members and city officials, at the direction of legal counsel, and this was his formal objection. Yeah, we went over this last night. That no easement exists, no alley was ever platted. This area serves as commercial business at the time. It's not now, and we've had it closed off since July. The value of the property is public representation matters. I respectfully urge the city to immediately cease this, honor the council's April decision, refrain from using taxpayer dollars to pursue unnecessary legal action. Please include this letter. So we read that last night. That was sent to Missy. Okay, as we see here, someone, not Mr. Cook, but someone else sent that to Missy. Okay, now we're going to see these other emails. So that was sent Tuesday, June 3rd at 12:50 p.m., noon, just a little after noon, to Bob. Bob then sent that to Missy at 1:47 p.m. Missy then wrote at June 3rd to Bob and to Meeks the following. Bob, just drop pursuing getting alley open again. It isn't worth it financially. I'm sorry I brought it up. I just feel bad for the homeowners who have lived there for 54 years. Missy, it doesn't matter, Missy. What about the people who openly enjoyed a little bit of heroin throughout the day until it became illegal? What do you have to say about that, Missy? Heroin used to be legal. Do you feel sorry for the people who no longer get to enjoy heroin because it is now illegal? You know, she is numb in the head. I just don't understand her thinking on this. I do not understand this. It wasn't until 1924 that heroin became illegal. So what about all of those people from 1924 until now? I mean, 101 years we have been persecuted because they made something which was once legal illegal. What about all those people that would enjoy doing some heroin for their evening dinner? You know, in 1915, you could shoot heroin all day long and it was perfectly okay. But then they came along in 1924 and made it illegal. Is Missy trying to reverse this decision? Like, I understand that the Bushes lived there for 54 years, and for a period of those 54 years, they were able to use property that wasn't theirs. But sometimes life goes on and things change, and you have to deal with it like adults. Okay? So this is really, really, really crazy here. All right. So she says, drop it, but wait here. I just feel bad for the homeowners. Okay. So she says that to Bob and to Meeks after she's riled the council up. All right. Don't forget she's riled the council up. Okay. This is June 3rd. Okay. And then Bob tells her, as she should know because she's a commissioner and she used to be a counselor, not that simple now, as council voted to seek legal consultation. At this point, I can ask if the council wants to reconsider it or move forward. Bob said that. Okay, so I applaud Bob's effort. Okay, so Missy then shoots back another email. Please assure them that I want to drop the issue. Who are you, Missy? Who are you? You want it opened. Now you want it dropped. Just all because you suggest it? Listen to what she says here. This is so disgusting. I feel really bad for the Bush family, but from what I've heard about the Cook man, I think he would continue to make their lives miserable if it was pursued. I will send them an email stating I think it's best to drop it also, if that is okay with you. Listen, now you have a elected commissioner saying, from what I've heard about the Cook man, I think he would continue to make their lives miserable, implying that he is currently making their lives miserable. He is not doing anything to those people. He is not doing anything to those people. He is enjoying the freedom of his property. And he's simply stating, I don't want the city to steal my land, and I don't care what Mr. Bush likes. And she's writing this now, slandering, libel. Absolutely. I think that's absolutely disgusting. And I'm going to get that to Mr. Cook immediately. I've talked to Mr. Cook. Mr. Cook is just flabbergasted. He's not mad at anyone. He's mad at the government for trying to steal his land. He's mad that they're trying to push this. But he has no ill will towards the Bushes. He doesn't understand why Missy is all up inside his asshole all of a sudden. He's out here trying to live his best life, and they're the ones that are trying to create a problem. Yeah, right. See how Missy has this in her mind? If you just simply want to live life as you should, and totally be unmolested by the government, you're the bad guy. How dare you have questions? How dare you ask the government to back off and to do what they're supposed to do? That is nuts to see that. David, that's absolutely right. I wish you could convince your Aunt Missy this. Because this is not good. I just cannot believe she wrote that. Okay. So then listen to this. Bob tells her it's probably best if you contact them directly. Guess what I'll be sending to Missy's, to the county attorney tomorrow? I will be sending a record request asking for any and all emails from Missy Williams, between Missy Williams and the Bushes. Yeah, Missy's a horrible person. I just don't know how else to say it. Missy's horrible. Yeah, David. Okay. So then Bob says, let me know if you get a response. Bear said he wasn't receiving emails. Okay, great. There's nothing else there. So, yeah, they know I have this now, and I just can't believe that. They're going crazy, thinking, "Oh my God, Bilbrey's involved." Okay, so let's see what else we've got here. Okay, they just sent me the same email again. I don't know what the point of that was. And then again, just sent me the same thing yet again. So she just sent me the same thing a couple of times. So let me see. Let me double check. I think we're done with this now. So there's that. I have some other information on this, but I haven't been able to go through it yet, and I need to go through it. So we'll probably have another total conversation about this let's see here. Okay, yeah, it's the same thing. I need to go through the information that some more information that I got from the citizens. I will go through that, and we probably will have another full show on this Missy deal, maybe next week, and we definitely will leading up to the council meeting in July. So when we get ready to go back to the Winchester City Council meeting in July, we'll do something about this to remind everybody. And we will then also keep you guys posted with that. So I'll let you guys know what's going on there. So now it's time to move on to the main topic of tonight's show. Move along, little doggies. So, did you see what Missy said? Okay, stand by 1 second. I want to get that email. Stand by here really quickly. I want to hit refresh here. Give me just 1 second, folks. Sorry. As I'm waiting for this, so as we started last night's show, so tonight's going to be, the main show tonight is going to be about Muncie. But and last night's main part of the show was about Winchester. But as we started last night's show, we talked about breaking news from Muncie. And then as we started tonight's show about Muncie, we talked about some kind of breaking news from Winchester. So that's kind of how that rolls. Give me 1 second here as I want to get this to the people that need to have it. Give me 1 second. What is going on here? Okay. Let me see where this is at. Okay, just give me 1 second here. Here we are. I want to take a picture of this. Okay, I want to send this picture here really briefly. Okay. Okay. All right, good. I just wanted to make sure that people had the information they needed. Okay. Now on to the Muncie politics. Oh, good. As we started the show last night, I talked to you all about the breaking news out of the Muncie City, Delaware County Republican Party, and that news was that currently elected Delaware County Democrat Muncie City Council member Brandon Garrett had decided to leave the Democratic Party. Here's the announcement. We talked about this last night. Here's Brandon. And we talked about his decision to leave. These are him surrounded on all sides by Republicans: Stephen Brand, Dan Ridenauer, Tim Overton, Jessica Piper, Brandon Garrett. And here, this message coming home, Brandon Garrett's 4 paragraphs. Here's a picture of Dan and Garrett, Brandon Garrett. And here's a picture of Dan, Garrett, and Belinda Munson. And then here's a picture of him and his wife and a kid. And so that's that. Now, I posted about it. I talked about it briefly last night on the show. And then I went on about my life. Got off the show, did life, and that was that. As I started to wind down for the evening, I decided that Brandon's little blurb there, his 4 paragraphs, I decided that I felt like that wasn't enough. Now, he might disagree with me. And I want to be clear here, because I know I'm going to get some heat for saying this, but I want people to relax. I feel that he owed more. That's my belief, that Brandon owed more of a statement about what's going on. He might feel that he doesn't owe more. And that's perfectly fine. If I ask him, hey, Councilor Garrett, I think as a sitting city councilor who was elected as a Democrat, who's now leaving, I feel like you owe the citizens more commentary about this. That's my opinion. And he says no. I can't force him to give me more. I can't beat him over the head or whatever. He says no, and then I either say okay, and I accept that, or I say, well, I think that he copped out on that, or whatever. But I'm allowed to question him. You're all allowed to question him, whether you're Republican or whether you're Democrat. You're allowed to feel happy about this. You're allowed to feel mad about this. You're allowed to be a Democrat and be happy, or be a Democrat and be mad. You're allowed to be a Republican and be happy, or be a Republican and be mad. We're all allowed to feel that way. And I also want to say for the record, right here, right up front, his family has a right to an opinion. His wife, his sister, any other family members that he have, they all have a right to an opinion. I will never censor them. I will never state that they can't voice their opinions. What I will say is, as an elected official, if John Doe is elected, let's just say, let's remove Brandon. I'm going to star this Tweety, and I'll come back to it. I will come back to that question. Have you seen this before? As an elected official, if John Doe is doing something and his actions, his or her actions, John or Jane Doe, causes the public to have an uproar and ask questions, and if he or she, John or Jane Doe, doesn't say anything, they sit quietly and they don't answer the further questions, but their family comes to their defense, well, they have a right to do that, but I think that looks pretty chicken shit, and I lose a lot of respect for someone like that. While I value everyone's opinion and I value everyone's right to be able to speak and say their piece, I think that as an elected official who's being paid tax dollars, I think that they have a responsibility to speak first, make their points known, and I'm just going to tell you straight out. I've been politically active for a long time. I've not always broadcast. The two lives are separate. I was politically active, and I kept it to myself, and I did stuff out in the community, but I didn't broadcast. It was only about 2015, 2016, 17 that I started doing the broadcast. When I started doing that early on, I would put my opinion out there, and someone that disagreed with me would launch an attack back at me. And I remember the first couple times that happened, my ex-wife and my mother both would fire back and go after those people. And I remember the very first time I saw that, it made me mad that they did that. I said, you can't do that. I'm a big boy. I know what I'm doing. If I can't take someone calling me out, then I have no business stirring the hornet's nest. Like, I understand what I'm doing. So you can't see something and fight my battle for me. And I shut that down pretty quickly. There was another incident after this that my ex-wife had posted in my defense, and I deleted her comment from my page, and I said, don't do that again. It's okay for you to get on and have your opinion. It is not okay for you to get on solely without sharing an opinion just to come to my rescue. I'm okay. I'm capable of fighting my own battles. Now, that's just me, okay? But I'm going to tell you, Brandon is someone who has routinely said, while campaigning, while up on the dais, I'm there. I will answer phone calls. I've given out my private phone number. If you call me, I will answer questions. I'll be there, and I will answer. Matter of fact, absolutely, Tweety Bird, absolutely. And you know what? I can absolutely respect what you're saying there, and I respect that. I don't respect someone who has to have their family members. That's the same thing that we were seeing with Sheriff Sproles and his nutty sister for a while. Remember that? Remember we were seeing that? Well, so, I just, it's just really, really strange when we see someone doing that. So Brandon has routinely said, I will fight my own battles, and I will tell people how I feel, and all of this, okay? And that's fine. Several months back, it would have been I want to say it was probably in March or April, where I stood up in a city council meeting and I said, I want to know when the crisis center is going to be open. I want to know when the crisis center is going to be ready to rock and roll. We're hearing different things, yada, yada, yada. And Brandon stopped me and specifically said, I will get you that answer. I will get to the bottom of this, and I will let you know. Yeah, right here. I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to show it to you right here. Here we go. Let me show you this. Here we go. This is the Muncie City Council meeting from March 3rd, 2025. There's several times since they've said it's been open, and Meridian Services has been running it. The door's been locked. Nobody's been inside. U.S. postal notes have been stuck on the outside. I was there one day. Mary Maids was trying to get inside to clean the place, and nobody would let them open the door. So, we paid a lot of money for this place, and I would assume that we're still paying for utilities or whatnot here. So I would like to try to figure out if we can get some kind of understanding of what's going on with it. So, I understand that maybe you guys don't know currently, but we'll come back. I'll come back next meeting and I'll ask you again. But if you could find out between now and then, that would be fantastic, I think. So I gave them a month. I said, here, you've got an entire month. Okay, let's listen to what happens here. The public deserves to know, what's going on there. I've heard some people say that basically we're out of it, that Meridian Services is running it now. But I think that's nuts if that's the case, because we paid a lot of money for that. And so I'm concerned about that. And then I'll save it for next month. Okay, thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Bilbrey, I pledge
Now look, okay, here Brandon starts talking. Listen.
to get a hold of you before next month's meeting and let you know what's going on with that. Yep.
I pledge to get a hold of you before next meeting and let you know what's going on with that. I don't know. He didn't say like I might get a hold of you. He didn't say like, if I get around to it. He said, Mr. Bilbrey, like this is straight on. Mr. Bilbrey, I pledge to get a hold of you next month and let you know what's going on with that before next month. I've never heard from him. He never called me. He didn't say anything to me. He never looked into it. Matter of fact, I'm pretty convinced by the time he left that podium 5 minutes later, he forgot he had even told me that. And that's my issue with Brandon. I've heard Brandon over his time on the council make a lot of comments like that and never fulfill them. And that's a problem. You should do what you say and say what you do. Say what you mean and mean what you say, specifically as an elected official. As David Williams said, he missed 6 meetings last year. It's questionable with these things, okay? Well, there was a time before that. It was right around the beginning of the year where he had pledged to give Rose Selvey a vote on something. And when he went to the meeting, he ended up pulling back on what he had pledged. Again, he pledged to give Roe a vote for something, and instead he voted for Nora, as Nora wanted. And I called him out on that. I called him out. I said, I want to know why he did this. And when I did that, he didn't come and fight his battles. He didn't come and comment and tell me, Bilbrey, you're wrong, or here you've got information wrong, or let me clear this up. What happened was his wife came into the comments bashing me for questioning him. Not even giving an opinion or clearing it up, simply bashing me for questioning him. His sister came into the comments not to clear up the misconfusion or to prove a point, but simply to jump on my back because how dare you question him? Well, my friends, he and I had a phone call, and I told him I'm very put off by how you and your family have acted the last 24 hours. And he apologized to me for it. We spoke. We had some words off record, and we worked it out, and everything was fine. And he told me that would never happen again. He gave me his word. This will never happen again. And he's told me from day one that I want you to hold me accountable. I could drag it up and show you my interview with him. And he says, Bilbrey, you and I are friends, and I know that there are some things that I do that you agree with and some things I do that you disagree with. And if you have an issue with me, I want you to hold me accountable. That's the only way I can get better. If I do something and you have a problem with it, I want you to call me out. Okay, great. I generally don't talk about Brandon. But when I do, want me to tell you what happens? Brandon doesn't come and clear the air. His sister jumps down my throat. His wife chews my ass. And I say, Brandon, buddy, old pal, that's not the way this is happening. It's not the way it should be done. So last night I get off air. And I made a post. And I'll pull this up and I'll let you guys see this. So I originally shared the post yesterday before going on air that they released and shared that post. And then at 6 o'clock this morning, 6:43 this morning, I posted the following post. 6:43 this morning, I said Muncie's District 3 City Councilor Brandon Garrett, along with the Delaware County Republican Party, announced last night, Monday, June 23rd, that Councilor Garrett left the Delaware County Democratic Party and joined the local Republican Party. GOP Chairman Tim Overton, along with Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour, released a short statement welcoming Councilor Garrett to the local Republican Party. Garrett also released a brief statement noting the decision was not political. Instead, he was simply coming home. But that, however, was the extent of what Councilor Garrett had to say. He did not explain why he needed to leave the Delaware County Democrats, and he only gave a few generic reasons as to why now, after all these years as a Phil Nichols-era 214 Democrat, he feels like he is now a Republican. I, along with many others, am calling on Councilor Brandon Garrett to come out and explain this move. And to be clear, it has to be Brandon, not his wife. I say that because so far, Councilor Garrett has been MIA, and his wife, Ashley, has been doing most of the commenting. Brandon hasn't had anything to say, but his wife sure has. She has been everywhere in the comment sections of Facebook, responding to people similar to how I would assume Brandon would or should be doing. It's great that his wife is there supporting him, but this has been an issue with Councilor Garrett for as long as he's been on the council. She does the heavy lifting for him on social media, and that just doesn't cut it. Brandon Garrett is the elected city councilor, and the people, both Democrats and Republicans, demand to hear from him, not his wife. So, Councilor Garrett, will you come forward and explain yourself here? Will you answer questions and lay it out on the line? The time is now. We are waiting. And ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you, there are people that are saying some horrible things about Brandon. Some things that I wouldn't say. I have question about what he's doing, but I don't think he's a racist. I don't think that he's a bigot. I don't think that he hates anybody. I don't know that he hates anybody. So I'm not going to claim that he's a bigot or a racist or a transphobe or whatever. I've got no evidence that any of that is true. And there are people out there saying that. There are people out there that are making this very hateful. I'm not making it hateful. I'm simply asking a question of an elected official. There's a difference. If he and his family want to get shitty with people that are shitty, nah, Frank, that's complete nuts. You have ran and you've talked about being part of a situation that is completely different from what you're now saying. Where does it say that a councilman or councilwoman has to respond? It doesn't say that, but that's what we've been fighting against since the beginning of time. So if you are now saying that you feel they don't have to be forthcoming and talk about what's going on, that's nuts. You're only saying that because this is Brandon, somebody that you share a friendship with. If this was Dan Ridenour that I was talking about, if it was Amber Green that I was talking about, if it was a Democrat, you would have a different opinion. I'm not going to take that. That is a cop-out on your part, and that's nonsense. The problem with the elected officials is that they don't communicate. So now to give them an edge and say, yeah, well, they don't have, there's nothing that says they have. You're right. There's nothing that says they have to. Let's just unelect those people. All the people that will not communicate, let's never vote for them again, period. Anybody that can't communicate, the whole people that came in 2019 forward, they all pledged a couple of things. They pledged to improve communication. That was the number one thing. Improve communication, improve accountability, and improve transparency. So that's a complete cop-out. I cannot even remotely believe that you would have said that. Anyways, so straight away, I get Brittany Garrett, which is a family member, just absolutely unloading on me about how dare I question him? How dare I question him? And his wife jumped in the comments doing the same thing. So I called him and said, dude, this is not good. This is not okay. This is the second time in 5 months that I've asked a simple question of you. And not only do you not answer, not only do I not answer, do you not answer, but your wife and your sister chew my ass because I'm coming to ask you a simple question. You said, I say that because it's very common in politics. It's not like it's uncommon, right? Well, that's like, that doesn't make any sense. Being that people refuse to communicate is not a good thing. That's what we are fighting about. That's the whole point of what I do. Fighting about people who refuse to communicate. And Brandon, it's come from Brandon's own mouth during his entire election. And every time he grandstands on the podium, on the dais, he says that he's willing to do the work and he's willing to communicate, and I'm willing to call me and let me know. I'll do the hard work. I will get a hold of you. I will you can call me out and I will stand on my principles. But he hasn't done that. That's the reason he's getting called out. So I called him and I said, look, I don't think that this is appropriate. Your sister and your wife can have all the opinions they want to have. But for them to be jumping me because I'm asking you a question, and I'm not even being hateful to you. I'm simply just asking you a question. I'm not saying that, oh, you've left the Democrats because you're a bigot. You're all this stuff. I'm not doing all that. I'm just simply asking him a simple question. Brandon called me, and Brandon and I had a conversation for about 35 minutes. Yeah, it's definitely his wife and his sister. Yeah, he's at work. He works like 5 to 5. So, and that's the other thing. One of them, Brandy or his wife's like, it's everyone thinks that he can just get on here and that, he works 5 to 5. And I said, look, I'm aware. I've known Brandon for a long time. I get it. I know he works. I'm not asking him to be on social media firing tweets out and texts out at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm asking him simply to do the duty that he came on my program and used my platform to tell voters that he would do. And when I talked to Brandon, you want to know what Brandon said? You're right. I'm sorry. He apologized for it. He spoke up. He said, you're right. Brandon told me today, and I'm going to hold him to it, that he would come on the program at Thursday, Friday, or the beginning of next week. He'd come on the program and he would explain more in detail about why he left. I said, okay, that's fine. That's all I ask of you. And I said, listen, I want you to, I've never had a problem with Brittany or Ashley. We have always gotten along. I said, tell them that I don't have an issue with them. And they are more than fine. It's more than fine for them to come on my comments on my page and to tell me that I'm wrong. to tell me they disagree, and to support you and to defend you. But what I don't ever expect, and what I think is gross, is for them to come on and be mad at me because I'm asking you a question. I said, you need to sit down with them, and you need to explain to your family that you say it's okay for people to call you out. It's okay for people to question you. That's what they need to do. That's what they need to understand. And he said that he would do that. So, I'm not going to hold my breath, but I am going to hold him accountable, and I am going to hold him to it. I don't know if you didn't just hear what I said. It was his idea to come on the show. And I'm not giving anybody once the dust settles. If somebody can't think under fire, they're not needed to where they need to be. I'm not going to give somebody 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. I'm not going to let things cool down. I've got a show to run. I've got things that we're doing at different times. Brandon's going to have to work. It's going to have to work around. Like, I always tell people that come on, I'll work around your schedule to a point, but you have to work on our schedule too. So he brought up the end of this week. So Brandon and I talked on the phone for about 30 minutes today, and he told me I was right. He apologized for what his wife and sister had done. He said that was wrong, and he said that I was right, that citizens do have a right to call him out and to question him, and that he was right. He said that he would come on the program. We agreed that it would be somewhere at the end of the week or the first of next week, and that he would explain why he's making the choice that he's making. And so I said, okay, good deal. So we'll see what happens. I'll give him the opportunity, and he can come on. I mean, just like me asking him a question, I can't force him to answer. I can ask him a question, and I can give him an opportunity to answer. He or anyone else, they can either respond, not respond in a way that we like, or respond in a way that we don't like. And those are the options. And there's nothing I can do about any of them. Now, the response to those options are, if he doesn't come on, I'm able to have thoughts about it. And he can like it or not like it, but that's just the way it is. If he does come on, I'm able to have thoughts about what he says. I'm able to either agree or disagree, and that's the way that it goes. Yeah, oh yeah. I've known about this since at least March, February or March. So this is definitely not something. This was not like oh my God, he switched. I'm aware of others that have tried, and others that are currently in the process of trying. It's not my situation to announce that until they do or don't. But yeah, this is yeah. Well, the problem is, with conversations, people are capable of saying anything, and actions have to speak louder than words. The issue is, on a local level, being a Republican or a Democrat truly doesn't matter. They're not deciding national issues. So the main thing is, if they're, as elected officials, if they are working for the benefit of the city. That's what I care about. So we'll see what goes on. We'll see what he says, and I'll give him that opportunity, and he can either take the opportunity or not. And that's that. Now, I do want to read the statement that the Democrats have put out. I said last night I wondered how long it would be until the Democratic Party put out a statement. And they did put out a statement today. They put this out at 4 o'clock today. And the statement is, I'm going to read the statement to you. This is from the desk of Andrew Dale, the chairman of the Democratic Party here in Delaware County. When an individual abruptly changes their long-standing political faith just 3 months after enthusiastically affirming their support for the Democratic Party and its newly elected local leadership, something is amiss. This is the case with Councilman Brandon Garrett, who now represents District 3 as a Republican. What's important to state is that the Delaware County Democratic Party believes in the following. We believe in supporting the United States Constitution and upholding the laws which serve as the guardrails for our society. We believe in providing equal rights with equitable outcomes. We believe that you should have access to healthy foods, clean waters, safe shelters, and a good education. We believe in health care for all. We believe that at-risk and marginalized communities should be cared for and protected and nurtured to an extent where, thank you. What? No, you're fine. Sorry about that. Let's see here. We believe that at-risk and marginalized communities should be cared for and protected and nurtured to an extent where fear is exchanged for hope. We push an agenda of sound investment in America, Indiana, and Delaware County, including good-paying jobs for the workers who carry us on their backs and the remaining unions which protect the rights of the workers. We stand for personal freedoms. We stand for personal freedoms to live how you want, love who you want, and be who you are. We don't know how it gets any more common sense than that. If someone who we, the Delaware County Democratic Party, spent a great deal of time and energy supporting, doesn't believe in these laudable, affirming objectives, and who now finds comfort with the Republican Party represents today, with what the Republican Party represents today, then it is best to recognize that individual's choice and respectfully move along. Andrew Dale, Chairperson, Delaware County Democratic Party. And so that's the statement of the Delaware County Democratic Party. And I just don't know what to say from here. There are people who are literally claiming that he is a bigot, that he is racist, and I don't understand that. While I am not specifically happy about what has occurred today with Brandon and Brandon's extended family for, me simply asking questions, I'm certainly not going to go to the stretch of saying like, "Ooh, he's a bigot." That's insane. He's got reasons. I don't feel like he gave a strong enough statement about why he's leaving. But that's why I'm going to give him the chance to come on. I'm going to ask him the questions. People can watch or not watch. They can watch live or they can watch in replay, and people can come on and ask questions if they want. He can choose to answer them or not, and that'll be that. So we'll have to see. Now, I don't know if Tweety Bird is here still or not. I assume she is, but I do want to go back and read her question. Tweety Bird said, "Have you seen this before?" And when you say, "Have you seen this before?" if you're here, I mean, I think that you can only mean, have I seen people leave parties before? And the answer is yes. It happens a lot. People leave political party for the other party all the time. It's happened here in Delaware County. In the last several years, it's happened more frequent than not. And the Delaware County Democratic Party is seeing a lot of people leaving here. I'm telling you, honest to God, dead serious, with information that I know of, I know of two that have currently left, Eric and Brandon. I know of one that has tried to leave, and it didn't work out. I know of two more that are currently in the process of going through the steps of leaving. And then if you stretch it to the last several of years, there's at least three others. Remember? Oh yeah, sure, Tweety Bird. Just depends. I mean, it's all over the time. It's a couple months in, a year in. I mean, this is not just right after he was elected. The election, when he was elected, was 23. He was elected in 23, so that means he served all of 24, and he's now served 6 months of 25. So we are halfway through this term. He did tell me that he is going to seek re-election. He will be seeking re-election, but that won't be for another 2 years. But yeah, it happens a lot. Like Kate said, it happened in Winchester all of a sudden. Boom, boom, bing, pow. All of a sudden it started happening, and it's, I was talking to my grandma today, and she said she didn't like turncoats. You are what you are. So, look, there's all kinds of different reasons. I think people have to explain why. So here's the deal. People have a lot of thoughts, a lot of different reasons, a lot of different thoughts. If someone has to be willing to explain, I still think it's more about, I knew Kate was going to say that. I don't think in his case that that's exactly the true, because technically where he's at in the city of Muncie and who he was and what party he was in, he had a better shot of being elected as a Democrat. It's almost like he has always been a male, but now sees himself. What? It's almost like he's always been a male, but now sees himself as a woman. I guess I don't understand what you're saying. I don't get what you're getting at there. Why isn't there a working restroom at Thomas Park? Have you, Kid Rock, have you emailed park people about that? Brandon screwed up the balance of our little loony local government. I bet Dan is all excited to have an extra in his pocket. Well, the Democrats still control the council. They just don't have a super majority. They just have a majority. They don't have a super majority. So it's currently 5-4 instead of 6-3. But I've heard that a bunch of Republicans are saying that Roselvi is a Democrat. Now, I think Roselvi would go crazy knowing that, but I don't think that she's a Democrat. I just think that she's a Republican who at times has not followed Dan's footing. I think it's okay to not follow this idea of being a voice and a vote for the mayor is not what being a council person is supposed to be for. I don't care about the mayor's agenda. I care about what's best for Muncie. So that's where we are. So, time will tell. Okay, well, that's going to do it for us this evening. I just wanted to bring this information to you and let you know that, time will tell. I've got really no more to say about this deal with Brandon until we hear what he says. He says he's going to come on. I'm going to offer him the opportunity to come on, and we will have to see. You either have the values of your party or you don't. Yeah, I believe that. Now, Tweety Bird, you also are aware that opinions and feelings can change. You're not the same woman that you were when you were 16. I would hope that you're not the same as you were when you were 16. I would hope that you're not the same as you were when you were 25. I would hope that I'm not the same person that I was when I was in my 20s. There are strongly held beliefs that I've had all of my life that have never changed. There are also beliefs that I have had that have changed over time. As we grow and we become more educated and more wise, opinions and thoughts and matters and values change. That's common sense. That happens. The other thing is, if it like the cat said, if we try to operate from a place of factual logic, that's important. Okay. Do you see that, Kid Rock? Right there we go. The restroom matter at Thomas Park was discussed at the latest Parks and Recreation Board meeting. Parts have been ordered. Woohoo! That's good to hear. Today's Tuesday, June 24th. That means a Delaware County Council meeting was held this morning. I've watched part of it, but I haven't watched it all. I'm going to watch the rest of it when we're off tonight, and I'll have some thoughts and opinions about that a little bit tomorrow. And I'm working on something for tomorrow. I'll let you know. I don't know. Wait a minute. So you used to be a Republican, but you came. So you mean to tell me that you've switched parties? We're going to end on that. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a wonderful rest of the evening. Take care. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great evening. Have a great Wednesday. And we will see you back here bright and early, bright and late, whichever one it says, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Wednesday, episode 476. Stay cool tomorrow. Stay hydrated. Take care of your pets, your plants, and your old people. And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. God bless. And good night.